Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for all the likes and support and then suggestions that you guys have sent me since we started yesterday. A lot of you guys know this isn't my only podcast. This is my first solo podcast where I'm talking about the law. It's interesting. It gives me more time to talk about what I think is important, and your suggestions and your support are really important to me. Um, I really do believe that we're going to be able to do some meaningful and some valuable stuff on this podcast. Not maybe this particular one, because this is just me whining a little bit, but we eventually get to some areas that are incredibly important, or should be incredibly important to almost everybody out there watching. And if it's not important to you, you should still learn because it's interesting as hell. People spend a lot of money watching, 48 hours, the next 48 hours, the next 72 hours, all of that stuff. And it's because crime is interesting, the legal system is interesting. Family law cases are stunningly interesting, terribly important, and always ignored. I'm not going to waste your time on giving you a bunch of bullshit. When we talk about family law cases, I'm going to explain to you how it's one of the most dangerous systems, legal systems ever conceived by humans. It's far more dangerous, far more likely are you to get screwed up and rolled up in the family law system than you are to get rolled up in the criminal justice system. Everybody will meet the family law system at some point in their lives, whether it's a custody battle, whether it's a paternity battle, whether it's a child support battle, whatever it may be. It's almost impossible to go through your life and never have a need or come in contact with the family law system, unfortunately. More than half of marriages end in divorce. More than half of marriages end in divorce with children. They're almost always contested. Everyone gets their feelings hurt, and it kind of ends up in the courtroom. And if not the criminal courtroom, it ends up in a family courtroom. But people don't really talk about that. We're going to teach you the ins and outs of how to get in and out of those systems, that system, as well as the criminal justice system. We're going to do a lot of interesting cases. We're going to talk about a lot of interesting cases. I did this for over 20 years. And the only reason that's significant is that I think you should get advice from people who know what to do. You should get advice from people who are experienced. You should get advice from people who are successful. You should get advice from people who have the receipts to prove that what they're saying is true. Many of the comments that I get are from people who I have represented, people who I've saved, people who we've been lucky enough to play a part in their life at a horrible time in their life, whether that is during a family law case or whether that is during a criminal case. Um, I am painfully aware of how important this system is. It will destroy your life. It will destroy your family member's life. It'll destroy your finances. It'll destroy your belief in the system. It'll destroy your belief in yourself because there's very few things that are as debilitating as someone coming and saying, I'm going to take your kids. I'm going to take your house. I'm going to take your freedom. I'm going to take your money. I'm going to take your reputation. But that's what the legal system does all the time. I'm going to be honest and I'm going to be blunt because you need to have someone to be honest and blunt and throw some humor in there because it makes you want to cry when you wake up one day and you say, what? That kid's not my kid and I got to pay child support for him or her for the next 18 years? Yeah, it's horrible. What? My daughter's arrested and charged with murder when I know they didn't do it because they were with me. Literally, that happens. And at that time, we need to have some place to go to get some information, to communicate with some people. And you're going to get that during these podcasts. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be blunt. I'm going to talk about every issue we have. It's important for me to let you know about my receipts. It's important for me to let you know that you can trust what I'm saying because I have the experience to back that up. I'm like I'm the LeBron James of longevity and fighting murder cases. I am the Bill Belichick of championships because I have more not guilties than anybody. Those are just facts. Those are receipts. You should never listen to anyone who does not have an in-depth knowledge of the legal system when you're trying to learn and figure out and get yourself through the legal system. I have the not guilties that most people don't. The secret. Ask your attorney, ask your lawyer, have you ever got a not guilty? And the vast majority of those lawyers will say no. They'll bullshit you and they'll lie. I've had many victories and very good outcomes. You're asking them specifically, how many times have you heard the word not guilty said in a trial in which you were the attorney? The vast majority of lawyers will have to say they've never heard that. And if they've heard it once or twice. It gets even more complicated when you step in. Have you ever won a murder case? Have you ever won an attempted murder case? Have you ever run a case in which the person was looking at the rest of their life in prison? And the answer is no. The vast majority of lawyers lose in the field of criminal defense. When you're in that world, you're going to lose. I didn't lose. I won the vast majority of my cases. We got very, very good outcomes. And we did it because we busted our ass and we know the system and we know how it works. That's the information. That's the knowledge that you're going to get during this podcast or these podcasts. The legal system is I compare it to a drunk walking on a ledge over a pit full of lava and snakes. You're going to eventually fall into it. And when you fall into that pit of lava, there's very, 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 very few chances that you're going to get out or your loved one's going to get out and they're going to be able to have anything resembling a normal life. It will destroy your ideas about the world. It will destroy what you thought was important. It turns out it's not. Okay? I'm going to stop you from being that drunk who falls off the ledge into the pit full of lava knives. And it doesn't really matter. I know people have commented and said, yeah, but it's just getting out guilty people. The system doesn't care whether you're guilty or you're not guilty. And that sounds so absurd and wrong, but it is true. The system does everything it can to promote convictions if it's a criminal case, and it does everything it can to promote real bad outcomes in family law cases. It's just too many times, too many examples I can give of people losing their children or people not losing their children when they should or shouldn't have. There's far too many cases of people that are clearly innocent that got convicted. There are far too many cases of people who are guilty and are found not guilty. It shows the system doesn't work. But you can really turn or get a little bit of a favor by understanding what's going on and understanding what to look for and understanding what the system isn't. And the system is not there looking to prove that someone's innocent. It's not there to prove that someone looking to prove someone is not guilty. The system, the legal system is designed that anyone who's accused, whether that's in family law, whether that's in a criminal case, is in fact guilty of something. That's the reason the system is set up. So don't walk in anywhere thinking, well, I'm innocent and I'm a good father or a good mother, and so I will prevail. That's bullshit. The system is there to get you. And don't listen to people who say that's not true. You look at the conviction rates, particularly in federal court. In the United States, it's over 98%. Over 98% if you're accused of a crime. Well, government gets nothing right 98% of the time. That's the system. The system is designed to convict you, designed to make you lose in court, and designed to make you pay. We're going to get you out of that. We're going to get you away from that. And the way we're going to do that is with the knowledge. We're going to do that with examples. So we're going to do that with results. So I'm going to talk about cases. We're talking about cases where people were guilty. I'm going to talk about cases where they were guilty and we walked them out. We're going to talk about cases on TV in which someone's getting screwed over, and I'm going to explain to you how that happened. I'm going to talk to you about cases that people send in where we can help figure out what happened, where we can talk about what happened. Because unless and until you realize that you can have a positive effect on this, the system's going to screw you over. It's going to screw the kids over. It's going to screw your marriage over. It's going to screw your finances over. It's going to screw your freedom over. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about that this system can be fixed a little bit, and if not, we can save your ass a little bit. And here's something crazy. I have, without question, represented people who were guilty as sin. One of the commentators, a couple commentators have talked about this. Yes, I have walked people who are guilty of sin out the door. Well, not me, the 12 citizens who sat there in judgment and decided that those people should not be in prison, should not be found guilty, let them walk out the door. I say that to tell you this. I've also sat there and watched innocent people get convicted and sent to prison for the rest of their lives by 12 crazy people in a jury box. And it's usually because the young man sitting next to me was black or brown or poor. Very few times have we lost a case with a rich person. And this is what's funny about these episodes that are coming up, because we're going to talk about Suge Knight, and we're going to talk about a person who was staggering wealth, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, immense fame, immense popularity, immense hatred. He was as famous as people could be, as successful as they could be. The guy was 100% railroaded. The guy should have never been arrested for murder. The guy should never have been charged with murder. Should have never had $1 million bail or $2 million bail. And that wasn't good enough. They said a $3 million bail and then a $5 million bail. And then finally, the justice system decided that he needed a $25 million bail. That's bullshit. That's the system making a mockery of the system itself. But what we're going to talk about is how Suge Knight was framed. And we're going to do it. I'll start the receipts and we'll start looking at some of the videos in the very next video. Okay. Thank you guys very much, and I appreciate it. Stay tuned.